Men today are turning themselves into a joke without even realizing it. They fantasize that being kind, submissive, and openly sharing their weakness is enough to earn a woman's respect. Wake up. Women don't need another child to take care of. They need a real man, steady amidst chaos, resilient in the face of challenges, and unyielding against adversity. If you still believe that softness will save you, then sorry, you're already halfway out of the game. Women don't love weakness, they respect strength. Not the strength of muscles or money, but inner strength. Self-control, emotional mastery, the ability to lead oneself before leading anyone else. If you can't master yourself, you can't master anything in your life. And no matter how much she once loved you, a woman will leave you if you fail at this. Don't look away, because next I'm going to expose even harsher truths, and only those with real guts will be able to hear them without running for cover. What you're about to hear next could change the way you see your entire life. Hit subscribe, like, and stay with me, because the final minutes will be the most important. Here's a truth most men don't want to hear. Women don't love your weakness. They might empathize, they might be kind, they might listen. But in the end, what earns their respect, what makes them feel safe, attracted, and committed, is strength. Not muscles, not money in your bank account, but strength from within. Willpower, discipline, emotional control, and the backbone to face life without crumbling. If you think that sharing your softest emotions with a woman will make you seem authentic, open, or vulnerable, then you're listening to a society that's actively breeding weakness. Sure, women may listen to your complaints, but they admire the man who controls himself far more than the one who leans on others like a helpless child. Deep down, women aren't looking for someone to nurture. They're looking for someone to follow, even when they themselves are lost. Here's the brutal reality. The more you display helplessness, the more you drown in childlike emotional outbursts, the more you destroy your own attraction. Men are not being taught to stand firm in the face of emotions. Instead, they're encouraged to be real, to cry when they feel like it, to give up when life gets heavy. The problem is, who pays the price for those emotions? Who will save you when you collapse under the weight of your own weakness? The answer? No one. And women won't either. They may love you, but they don't owe you infinite patience. The moment you lose your stability, your role as a leader, even the deepest love begins to wither. She may not leave immediately, but she will withdraw emotionally. Trust fades, respect dies, love follows soon after. You don't need to be cold, but you must be solid. Emotions aren't for display, they're for understanding, mastering, and using as tools, not letting them toss you around like a drunken fool. When you lose control to your emotions, you lose your position. When emotions control you, you act like a boy, and it's game over. The solution isn't pretending to be strong. The solution is becoming genuinely strong. Train your willpower like you train your muscles. Get up early when you don't feel like it. Work even when your motivation tanks. Face the problems you'd rather avoid. Every disciplined action you take adds another brick to your inner fortress. Every time you refuse to be a victim of circumstance, you move one step closer to becoming the kind of man women can't help but admire. Maybe you've been taught that women fall in love with words, women crave attention, or women love men who make them laugh. Sounds nice, but that's just the surface. At the core, women respect men who can face life without falling apart. Love may start with sweet words, but it only lasts when it's built on strength, direction, and stability. So what if you're weak right now? Simple. Don't stay weak. Don't excuse it. Don't make it your identity. Weakness is temporary, but if you cling to it, protect it, defend it, you'll drown in it. Start with the basics. Train your body. Keep promises to yourself. Master your reactions. Step by step, you'll become the kind of man not just women respect, but the kind of man you yourself can respect. If you want real love, don't look for someone to comfort you. Become the man women feel protected by when they stand next to you. That's a quiet strength. It doesn't scream, it doesn't boast, but it's undeniable, and it can't be replaced by any amount of sweet words. If you think women argue with logic, you've already lost before you even step into the battle. If you believe you can reason a woman into changing her emotions, you're committing psychological suicide. Women don't play the game with logic. They play with emotion, and they are far better at it than you will ever be. From the moment they're born, women wield a weapon that men spend their whole lives failing to master: emotional navigation. They don't need to win you over with arguments. They just need to hit the right emotional nerves, make you angry, confused, guilty, and the game is already theirs. This isn't evil. It's survival instinct. Throughout history, women didn't survive through brute strength. They survived through emotional precision, knowing when to be soft, when to be firm, when to stay silent, when to cry. You see them crying and think it's because they're sad? No, they cry to express a psychological state, to shift your emotions, to provoke a reaction. And if you're the kind of man who reacts exactly how they expect, by losing your temper, falling apart, or panicking, you're being led without even realizing it. That's why when you step into an argument, a negotiation, or a relationship, you are fighting on an emotional battlefield. If you don't understand this, you're walking straight into a trap with your eyes wide open. The harsh truth is, you cannot logic your way through emotions. You must read them, understand them, guide them, not argue with them. Imagine trying to explain to a woman that she's being unreasonable for being mad that you've forgotten an anniversary. To you, it sounds logical. To her, her anger is real, present, and undeniable. She doesn't need you to break it down like a math equation. She needs you to recognize what she feels, not dissect it. A strong man doesn't argue logic. He reads the emotional current. He stays calm. He sees the emotional waves for what they are and leads, not drowns. He understands that the anger isn't the real issue. It's a signal, a call for connection, a cry for reassurance, a need to feel safe and protected. When you master your own emotions, you stop needing to win arguments. You stop needing to be right. You win by staying solid while the storm rages around you. You win by mastering yourself. The solution is simple but hard. Learn to read signals. When she's angry, maybe she needs a hug, not a lecture. When she's crying, maybe she needs your silent presence, not a 10-minute explanation about why she shouldn't be upset. Above all, always control your reaction. Don't let her emotions dictate yours. Don't act like a child throwing tantrums. Act like a warrior who understands that every emotional storm is just another battlefield to cross. Because when you control your emotions, you control the outcome. You become the man no woman can manipulate negatively. You become the man they respect, admire, and naturally want to follow. Emotion is the battlefield, and any man who still thinks logic will save him has already tied stones to his ankles before even stepping into the fight. If you think that once you win over a woman, everything will go smoothly forever, you're lying to yourself in broad daylight. The truth is, women will test you constantly, relentlessly, and without warning. They do it subconsciously, as naturally as breathing. Women don't test you because they want to humiliate you, and they don't do it because they enjoy hurting the men they love. They do it because they need to know whether the man they chose is still strong enough to withstand the brutal world outside. You will face endless tests, a disapproving look when you fail, a vague comment about your career, unreasonable demands when you're at your lowest, or uncomfortable silence when you desperately hope for support. Every one of these moments serves a single purpose: to see if you can stay grounded. If you react like a scolded child, blowing up, pouting, justifying yourself, begging for approval, you fail. And make no mistake, a single failure might be forgiven, but repeated failure will kill respect. And once respect dies, love dies with it. So what does a real man do? He doesn't beg for love. He doesn't plead for sympathy. He understands that these tests are natural and necessary. Instead of feeling insulted, he embraces them as an inseparable part of leadership. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't go on long defensive speeches. He doesn't grovel for validation. He simply continues being himself, steady, strong, and unshaken by emotional turbulence. Remember this: women don't want you to fail these tests. They are hoping you'll pass. They are hoping you'll stay strong enough for them to continue believing in you. A woman tests a man because it's her instinctive way to feel safe in an unpredictable world. And if you are strong enough to pass, The reward isn't just love, it's loyalty and deep, lasting respect. So what's the strategy? First, you must understand that emotion is a battlefield, not a courtroom for right and wrong. When emotions run high and harsh words fly, you don't argue to prove yourself right. You stay calm. You observe. You recognize that it's just another test. You choose not to play the emotional tug-of-war. You can remain silent, smirk, or simply keep doing what you believe is right, without asking permission or offering explanations. That is the ultimate power of a real man. The ability to control himself amidst the chaos of someone else's emotions. You can't stop women from testing you. It's their nature. But you can become the man who renders every test powerless because you're no longer ruled by fleeting emotions. You become the rock in a raging sea. You become the man she can lean on without fear of collapse. And in a world full of weak men begging for comfort, you become the rarest and most valuable thing. A real man, unshakable and unbreakable. This isn't just a video. This is the reminder you needed today. Hit subscribe and like if you want someone in your corner, pushing you to live by your real values. One of the deadliest illusions men fall for is believing that their current value is enough to keep a woman. They get complacent with what they have, a stable job, a decent body, a few dusty achievements, and think that's all it takes. Big mistake. Women don't just look at who you are today. They see the man you could become. They love you now, but they're investing in your future. And if you stop growing, if you stagnate, your attractiveness will fade faster than you can imagine. By nature, women choose partners based on survival and growth instincts. They bond instinctively with the man who can take them toward a better, safer, more fulfilling life. If you stop moving forward, if you become a stale version of yourself, then no matter how much they loved you yesterday, they'll start doubting tomorrow. Nothing kills attraction faster than standing still. The man who sits back, smug over small victories, will soon find himself abandoned by the very woman he thought he had secured. Understand this clearly. Women aren't demanding that you be perfect right now. They just need to see that you're climbing, fighting, becoming stronger. They need to feel that you are a man who knows what he wants and is actually moving toward it. When a woman sees vision and drive in you, she'll stay, even if you currently have nothing tangible to show. But if all she sees is stagnation, boredom, and lack of ambition, she'll start walking away, sometimes before you even notice what's happening. So what's the solution? It's simple, in theory, brutal in practice. You must become a never-ending project. You must live in a state of constant building, constant upgrading, constant breakthrough. Every day must see a step forward, no matter how small. Learn new skills, improve your body, expand your network, increase your value, not just for yourself, but for everyone who bets their future on you. Never let yourself become a finished painting gathering dust on a wall. Be the unfinished masterpiece people look at and know, this man is going to be something far greater than he is today. Make progress part of your identity, and don't do it just to keep someone. Do it to keep your own self-respect. Women are simply the natural consequence of a man who refuses to stop rising. Life doesn't wait for anyone. You either evolve or you get left behind. Women are no different. They evolve with the man strong enough to carve out a future and walk toward it, drop by drop, drop of sweat by drop of sweat. Those who stand still, no matter how much love they once had, will be forgotten. You cannot buy loyalty with past achievements. You can only hold it with an unwritten vow. I will never stop growing. Honor that vow every day, with no excuses, no whining, and you'll become the kind of man any woman would gamble her life on. It might be hard to swallow, but this is the truth. The world is not fair, and neither are women. No one owes you anything just because you're a good guy. You can love with all your heart, sacrifice everything, give the very best of yourself to a woman. But if you think that automatically guarantees you love, respect, or loyalty, you're lying to yourself. Women don't love effort. They love results. They don't stay attached to pure kindness. They stay attached to strength, to competence, to the ability to make them feel safe and proud. We live in an era where far too many men believe they deserve love simply because they've given so much. They think that sincere affection, daily texts, thoughtful gifts, and even sacrificing their own dreams to please a woman will make them invincible in love. Wrong. Love is not a fair exchange contract. Women do not owe you love just because you tried hard. Your effort only matters if it's tied to real growth. Growth in your thinking, your abilities, and the man you are becoming. If you're sitting there whining, "I did everything for her, why did she leave me?" you're acting like a child demanding a reward for doing chores. No one is obligated to stay with you because you were nice. The world runs on value, not on pure emotion. You are not rewarded for your good intentions. You are kept around because you bring real, undeniable value, and that value must constantly be built, proven, and upgraded. So what's the solution? Get rid of the "I deserve it" mentality. Stop expecting fairness from love. Stop expecting people to treat you well just because you treated them well. Instead, build yourself into the kind of man no one wants to lose. Work so relentlessly on yourself that you become the obvious choice, not because you're pitiful, but because you're powerful. When you have inner strength, when you have direction, when you radiate calm control over your life, women will naturally be drawn to you. They will choose you, not because they owe you anything, but because they want to walk alongside you into the future. Don't demand fairness. Build strength that renders unfairness irrelevant. When you become the man even injustice must bow to, you stop whining, stop blaming, stop sulking. You walk forward with your head high, unafraid of loss, without needing anyone's pity. Because you understand, a man's true worth isn't in what he demands, but in what he relentlessly builds, no matter the circumstances. Women, like life itself, do not belong to those who beg for mercy. They belong to those who master their own fate. And if you truly want to be loved, respected, and chosen, stop begging for fairness. Become the man the world cannot ignore. That is the only path. Every other option is just a trap, pulling you back into the mud of weakness and failure. You've heard it all now. There's no room left for excuses, no space for self-pity. The truth is simple. Women don't owe you love, life doesn't owe you opportunities, and the world doesn't care how hard you tried. You either master your reality, or you get discarded. That's it. You have two choices and only two. 1. Keep whining, blaming the world, resenting women, and bury your life under cowardly excuses. Or 2. Stand up, shut up, and start building yourself into the kind of man even the world itself has to respect. No one is coming to save you. No one will pity you long enough for you to become better. Women do not stay with the weak. Opportunities do not smile at the idle. Respect does not come to the ones who just demand it. You can live your whole life as a victim, or you can choose to become the man you yourself would admire. But remember, the choice is yours. No one will force you to rise. No one will drag you out of failure. It's a cold, ruthless decision only you can make for yourself. And if you don't choose, life will choose for you, through failure, loneliness, and oblivion. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.